everyone. This is Tracy Newman from the Navigator's Tarot and my website, which is sleepywisdom.com, where you can find me if you would like a personal reading. Just here to do the weekly checkups for the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine, and also general reading. But we'll start with, the Divine Masculine and see where they're at today. It's a beautiful day here. I could have done it outside. I actually have a cold, and so I'm going to probably stay indoors today. Okay, give me the energies for the Divine Masculine at the moment. So the Divine Masculine is in a very contemplative state and a contemplative mood at the moment. Feeling very attracted to the Divine Feminine, and is sitting in contemplation of that. Now, of course, I am talking about energies. If you have a Divine Masculine that you would like to project this onto, then that is perfectly fine. But as always, Hieros Gamos is the balancing out of and coming together and the integration of the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine energies within. And as I've always stated, they must be balanced within before any sort of real union between a Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine actually come into being. So that's what I'm talking about. So at the moment, the Divine Masculine is really sitting in contemplation and quietude, and listening very carefully to his inner voice, and also in contemplation about the Divine Feminine and how the attraction of the Divine Feminine is working within his life and within his own being. And he's also in a state of, even though he has a lot of those contemplative the moon energies, which the moon is often about deep reflection and internalization of feelings and beingness. There is this wonderful feeling of the Ten of Cups, which is great love for himself and for those around him, and even for the Divine Feminine that he knows resides within him. So if there is Divine Masculines that are actually also projecting with the Divine Masculine energy, the greater Divine Masculine energy, and projecting that feeling of divinity towards a Divine Feminine that embodies, is embodied in a physical reality, then he is looking at how that attraction to that outer appearance of Divine Femininity, and how he can actually internalize that and recognize that his Divine Feminine within himself is somehow needing his attention and contemplation and internalization for himself. As within, always without, and vice versa. Masculines that are attracted to Divine Feminines in the outer are only, those outer projections are always about the Divine Feminine within. So it's really interesting, and what I'm getting is that this is actually leading to a more balanced view of the masculine and feminine within. And so if you are a divine masculine or house those energies of divine masculine, I mean, we all do, some greater than others. And we can always change within at any given time, depending on what is needed at the time. So for me, lately, I've been housing the divine feminine, as a lot of the divine feminines are. And but what's happening with the divine masculine, they are now starting to really see that divinity within themselves in the form of those feminine, nurturing, loving energies of the Empress, which is the divine feminine, and the Goddess, which is the divine feminine. So it is all about balance between Hieros Gamos and the Christos Sophianic energies, the original God and Goddess energies, the Grail energies of the divine bloodline. And at the moment, the divine masculine is really in that beautiful contemplation energies, where he's really starting to see exactly where he needs to come into balance within himself. And it's like there's clarity now. That contemplation is bringing clarity, where once before he couldn't actually go within and find that, because all he was getting was confusion. But that's all very in the head, and not with it coming down into the heart space. But now he's really beginning to find that heart center and his feeling center, which is leading him more to those contemplative energies and out of the realm of confusion. I'm hoping this makes sense. It's coming through. And look, this beautiful energy of the Three of Cups. Three of Cups is about communion with others in celebration, and it can actually sometimes mean a third party. And if there are third parties, I think at the moment third parties may have actually come into like a confusion, maybe sort of setting off that confusion. But really, ultimately, third parties often will lead through karma to finding the essence of the self, the pure essence of the self, by working through the karmic energies that are abounding at the moment. And that can actually sometimes come in the form of third parties. And when I mean third parties, I don't always mean another person, although it can be. Third parties can be blockages of some description, or like whether it's a blockage that is self-enforced, or whether the universe has provided some sort of blockage. But also, those third parties will, as I said, always lead through karma to find the truth of who we really are. And I think that that's what the masculines are now doing, and finding that through sometimes their own resistance to the divine energies, through the karmic third parties, they can actually find the truth of who they are, and that clarity within. Because the third parties through these karmic actions will often lead to confusion, which then will force the masculine or the other part, the original party, to go within and find the truth of who they are, by contemplation, by accessing the heart energy and those feeling centers, and so that they can actually then gain some sort of clarity about their situation, or of healing, or whatever it is that they may be resisting to begin with. So at the moment, the masculines are also about communication, whether with a projected divine feminine, or whether it is communication to their own divine feminine, which and their own divinity. The divine feminine is the doorway and into those divine energies, and the masculine is really beginning to see that, whether he is projecting that onto a divine feminine, or whether he is actually finding that divine feminine, those divine feminine energies within himself, or vice versa, or however that works. The balance that is coming together of the divine masculine and divine feminine energies are starting to become more apparent in those, with someone that has those divine masculine energies. They're really beginning to find, through that contemplation, the balance of those energies by accessing his own divine feminine, and vice versa, if it is a divine feminine that is looking at the masculine energies. Okay, so that's all I have this week. The divine masculine is doing very well, and it's through contemplation and finding through his heart space the truth of who he really is. A wonderful divine